Chapter 1. The yellow spot in the world of Splark. Color ruled everything. It was a place where people were defined by the hue of their skin, and your future was predetermined by the colors you carried. Splark had a strict caste system based on colors, and at the top were the blues, known for their intelligence and wisdom. Reds were fierce warriors, greens were scholars, and purples held positions of power and authority. But there was one color that was dreaded above all others: yellow. Yellow, the color of happiness, was ironically the most feared color in Splark. A yellow spot on your skin was a death sentence. It meant that you would soon transform into a horrific goblin. And the society's law mandated that all goblins must be killed to maintain the purity of Splark. Leela, a young woman with vibrant yellow hair and a small yellow birthmark on her wrist, had always known the truth about her color. She had hidden her spot for years, living in fear of the day when it would become impossible to conceal. But as her yellow spot grew larger and more pronounced, the whispers of the townsfolk grew louder, and the threat of being discovered became imminent. Chapter 2. Transformation. Fateful night. As the moon cast an eerie glow over the forest, Lila's transformation began. She felt an excruciating pain coursing through her body, and she watched in horror as her skin turned sickly yellow-green. Her fingers twisted into gnarled claws, and her once beautiful eyes became yellow and slitted. Leela was now a goblin, a creature of nightmares. But unlike most goblins, Leela refused to give in to despair. She was determined to live her new goblin life as a happy one. With newfound agility and the ability to see in the dark, she ventured into the forest to forge a new path for herself. Chapter 3. The goblin community. As Leela roamed the wilderness, she encountered other goblins who had been cast out by society. Some were once blues or reds, while others had been greens or purples. Together, they formed a small, tight-knit community in the heart of the forest, hidden from the prying eyes of Splark's citizens. Leela quickly became the leader of this ragtag group of outcasts, and she taught them how to embrace their goblin forms and find joy in their newfound abilities. They learned to hunt, build shelters, and communicate in the silent language of the forest. They were no longer defined by their colors but by their resilience and determination. Chapter 4. The rebellion. Word of the goblin community in the forest began to spread, and it reached the ears of a secret underground group known as the Chroma Resistance. The Chroma Resistance believed in equality for all colors and sought to overthrow the oppressive caste system of Splark. They saw Leela and her goblins as allies in their fight against tyranny. Leela and her goblins joined forces with the Chroma Resistance, and together they planned a rebellion. They knew it would not be easy, for Splark's society was deeply entrenched in its beliefs. But Leela had a secret weapon, her unshakable determination to prove that yellow could be a color of happiness and strength. Chapter 5. The battle for Splark. The day of reckoning arrived, and the rebellion against Splark's oppressive regime began. The streets of Splark ran with the colors of defiance as goblins, blues, reds, greens, and purples fought side by side. The goblin community's agility and knowledge of the forest allowed them to launch surprise attacks, while the Chroma Resistance rallied the oppressed colors to their cause. In a climactic battle, Leela faced off against the oppressive ruler of Splark, a cruel and ruthless purple named Lord Varus. As their powers clashed, Leela's unwavering spirit and the unity of the rebellion proved stronger than the oppressive caste system. Chapter 6. A new Splark. With Lord Varus defeated, Splark began to change. The caste system was dismantled, and colors were no longer a measure of a person's worth. Leela's dream of a world where yellow could be a color of happiness and strength had become a reality. Leela and her goblins were no longer outcasts but celebrated members of the new society. They were recognized for their unique abilities and contributions to Splark's transformation. Leela's once feared yellow spot became a symbol of hope and resilience. In the end, Splark had been reborn as a place where colors no longer defined people, and happiness could be found in the most unexpected places. It was a world where the color yellow, once associated with fear and death, had become a beacon of hope and change. And so, in the world of Splark, the goblins lived happily ever after, proving that happiness could be found in even the most unexpected places and colors.